Welcome back. Welcome back. This is the People's Voice. I am Trey Evans, and I am the People's Voice. Thank you again for checking out the podcast this week. As always, it is greatly appreciated. The People's Voice podcast is an investigative news podcast where I'm dedicated to researching topics and social issues that I feel have either been underreported or not reported at all by mainstream and social media. The purpose of the podcast is to shed light on those issues, offer some insightful analysis, hopefully some recommendations and actionable solutions that you could utilize to address those issues. The People's Voice podcast can be heard on all podcast platforms, and we also put a video out on YouTube every Wednesday as well for those of you who would like to watch the podcast. But in any event, we say welcome, and welcome to the People's Voice podcast. So today, I want to get into a topic that I don't know how deep of the social issue of a social issue this is, but it's something that I wanted to talk about. I saw it pop up on the kind of the news feed here, and I thought it needed some additional attention. Today, I want to talk about ticket prices for events here in the United States. Like I said, this is a topic that affects some, right? But it's not, we're not dealing with some of the life and death issues that I feel like I cover on the podcast, but I still feel like it's worthy enough to be addressed and have a little bit more of a deep dive into what's going on. So, for those who don't know, ticket prices for live events, specifically here in the United States, have been astronomical in the last 5 years, and even prior to that, but definitely post-pandemic. The ticket prices to go to see one of your favorite artists, or bands, or whatever genre of music that you're into, have become extremely high, and even other events as well, sporting events, theater events, whatever form of entertainment that you're into, and this has been caused, and it's documented by what are called bots, as part of the reason why ticket sales and ticket prices have been so astronomical. That's one of the identified reasons that you have these automated softwares and programs and websites that when tickets come out for an event, there are programmers who go in and actually program farms and companies that utilize the software to go and buy tickets at the base price or regular price, and then they put them back onto the resale market, which causes the prices to be super inflated. And of course, demand in anything always drives what prices will be. So you have individuals paying sometimes 6, 7, 10 times the amount of the original face price of a ticket to go see an event. I'm talking about this today because recently the CEO of Live Nation, and for those of you who don't know, Live Nation is a concert promotion entertainment company that basically drives and hosts the majority of the events that you may attend, especially when you start talking about arenas and stadiums across the country. But recently their CEO was on a what show was he on? He was on a show for he was on NBC, or I believe CNBC, and he basically said that he felt ticket prices were underpriced, specifically when he starts talking about concerts. Matter of fact, let me play that, and then I'll get back to some additional information regarding this story and other information regarding ticket prices. But this is Michael Rapino, who's the CEO of Live Nation.
I think music has been underappreciated. You know, I always joke, sports, it's like a badge of honor to spend 70 grand for a Knicks courtside. They beat me up if we charge 800 for Beyonce, right? You know, so it's a real, it's a very we have a lot of runway left, right? So when you read about the ticket prices going up, it's still, average concert price is $72. Try going to a Laker game for that, and there's 80 of them or whatever the hell. So the concert is underpriced, has been for a long time. I think music has been
Sorry. I mean, what?
I ain't passed the ball, but I know a little bit.
What are you?
Nothing but lies. 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 Lies.
I mean, underpriced is just not an accurate statement, sir. I'm sorry. Even at $72, and he says ticket prices are, what did he say, at $72? The average ticket price is $72. If you buy a $72 ticket, you basically are going to need a camera and some additional earphones, because you're going to be so far back at whatever venue that you are experiencing this concert in. It's definitely going to be difficult to at least see the performance more than hear the performance. But this was his statement, and he was very passionate about it, as you can tell in that clip. Here's the issue. These ticket prices that have become astronomical are not only becoming astronomical because of these bots that go and buy these tickets up and then put them back on the resale market, but these ticket prices are also being have become exorbitant because of the company themselves, Live Nation and Ticketmaster. And I'll tell you why. The FTC just recently issued a lawsuit against against Live Nation and Ticketmaster. Matter of fact, it's right here on the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission site. The title says FTC sues Live Nation and Ticketmaster for engaging in illegal ticket resale tactics and deceiving artists and consumers about price and ticket limits. And in this article, it details not only is Ticketmaster and Live Nation, and Live Nation owns Ticketmaster. So back in 2010, Live Nation took over Ticketmaster. So Ticketmaster is now a subsidiary of Live Nation. Now, so now get this. Live Nation is responsible they own a lot of the venues around the country. They are the promoter of the events, and now they also own the ticket distribution for these events. But in any event, in this lawsuit, they are being accused of several things. One of the things that they're being accused of is collusion with ticket brokers. In that article, it says that ticket brokers Ticketmaster has been allowed, or Ticketmaster allowed brokers to illegally harvest millions of tickets for the primary market. It says that then these tickets were then resold on Ticketmaster's own resale platform and inflated the prices. So, I mean, this is, just to break it down, to the simplest terms. So basically, you decide to throw an event in your backyard, and you say it's going to be $10 a ticket. Somebody goes to buy the tickets. You hold the tickets, give them to a broker that you're working with, right? Say your neighbor across the street, and say, here's 100 tickets. You sell these tickets for 20. Give me 5. You take 5, and now we're both making a profit. And this is what Ticketmaster is being and Live Nation is being accused of. In addition, they're also being accused of deceptive pricing, bait and switch. They say that Ticketmaster advertised lower prices, but added hidden fees in their prices, which is sometimes up to 44% of the ticket. And I think I talked about this before in another story, but I definitely have experienced this as well, right? And just checking out, just going to Ticketmaster just to buy a ticket to go see a show. And then, behind this, all you see is all of these fees on top of the ticket, which is almost half the price of the ticket. And you go, well, what are we doing here, right? Because, I mean,
Men lie, women lie, the numbers don't.
I just want to go see the show, and I want to go see it at what I feel is a fair price. And a lot of times, Ticketmaster and Live Nation do put on these additional fees that bloat these prices, even if you find the lowest price, the unresale price on their sites. Some other things that they're being accused of in this lawsuit is that there are false claims about purchase limits. Ticketmaster, definitely for those of you who buy tickets, they always talk about, there's purchase limits and that you could only get a certain amount of purchase. But in reality, they say brokers use thousands of fake accounts and other mechanisms to buy tickets in bulk. And it just goes through a whole litany of other accusations that they're levying against Ticketmaster, including failure to enforce security measures. Because, for those who know, when you go to purchase tickets on these sites, they say, you have to either fill out this puzzle or this, some type of what they call capture. And I'm not going to get into it, but basically a security measure to identify whether or not a person is actually an individual and not just an automated software. So his statements come on the back of this lawsuit that has been put together by the Federal Trade Communication. So now, just to go back a little bit, so you have a little bit of history of how we get here. So bots first get introduced in the ticket and concert space somewhere around 2001, I believe. And I was reading a story here from Global News where they talked about this, for those of you who are watching the YouTube. So just to give you a little bit of history. So bots, as many people are familiar with that terminology now, started, at least here in the United States, back in 2001. There was a insurance salesman, and I'm reading directly from the Global News article. It says that there was a salesman in Arizona named Ken Lawson, who was a ticket reseller, and he found a teenage programming whiz in Bulgaria in 2001. Together, they developed the automated concert ticket buying program that was continually refined to be faster and more ruthless when it came to acquiring tickets. It says between 2001 and 2010, this guy Ken Lawson from Arizona, and who named his company Wise Guy, made tens of millions of dollars from scalping tickets between 2001 and 2010. There's a claim here that says that during that period, his company dominated 90% of ticket sales in the U.S. And it goes on to kind of talk about how he built that business and how that business has now morphed into what we are seeing today in the ticket sale and concert arena sale or event selling business, at least for tickets here in the United States. Now, again, this, I'm sure, is a worldwide issue. But, for as many of you know who listen to the podcast, I like to focus on what's going on in the United States, being that I'm here and I'm learning sometimes in real time, just like you guys are. But so that's kind of the backdrop. Now, out of that, we now fast forward to today, where you have, not only do you have companies such as this that, such as this company that was built back in 2001, and coincidentally, just to put a cap on that story, his company was raided back in 2009, and he was put out of business and hit with 42 charges of hacking and fraud. Now, coincidentally, he never served any jail time. He accepted a plea deal, and now he's a expert in identifying bots and helping fans to beat the bots so they can buy tickets. So, how basically hackers do once they get caught. They then become cybersecurity analysts and experts and on the other side, which is a whole nother conversation. But so that kind of brings us to today. So where are we at today? Well, here's the thing. There is first and foremost, there's a law against bots being used here in the United States. And I'm scrolling through to look for the name of that law because I just saw it. I'm going to type in bots law, FTC. But there's a bots law, which is called the Better Online Ticket Sales Act. And this act prohibits the circumvention of security measures, access control, or other technological control measures used online by a ticket issuer. Basically, it's supposed to prohibit the selling and offering to sell event tickets obtained through using bots. And this act was put together back in 2016. Now, of course, the FTC is going to try to use this to go against Ticketmaster and Live Nation. But here's the thing. Bots and automated programs are not just designated or not just only being used by companies. You, as an individual, can pay money to a developer to develop your own bot to buy tickets. Now, I want to make it clear, I'm not promoting this. This is part of the news story. But there are companies and organizations and websites that are now allowing developers for a certain fee to allow individuals to have their own bots to buy up tickets, which is just mind-boggling to me. But how do you enforce that, right? As I'm talking about it in real time, like how can you enforce that? Like this law, this Better Online Ticket Sale Act that was put together in 2016 clearly is not working because ticket prices continue to soar, and now you have this new lawsuit going against the FTC. Now you have this new lawsuit by the FTC going after Live Nation and Ticketmaster, which clearly shows that this law is not being enforced, and there's really no way to enforce it. You literally at this point are talking about thousands and possibly even millions of bots being used to buy up tickets, based on this allegation in this suit, Live Nation and Ticketmaster being one of the bigger players here, at least here in the United States. But that's what I wanted to cover today. I wanted to talk about this. Like I said, it's not a life or death situation, but I know, there are definitely concert goers and live event goers and consumers who like to indulge in these. So I kind of wanted to put this on your radar to let you know, it's not you, right? I recently looked to go to an event and I saw the prices and I'm like, what's going on? And then of course I see this news story come out and do a little bit of research and I'm like, okay. Because in the tickets that I was trying to get, like were not even their face value amounts were barely $50-$60, and the resale market for the tickets, I was just like, that's just insane. I refuse to pay that. But that's what's going on. So basically, we can keep track of this story, right? I'll try to give an update to see what happens with this lawsuit. I'm not confident that this will do much because Ticketmaster and Live Nation basically are a conglomerate, a monopoly at this point. So, and big money always talks, especially here in these United States of America. But that's what I wanted to talk about today, ticket sales. So if you want to leave a comment, you can reach me at the People's Voice Podcast on Instagram. You can also reach us at I Am Trey Evans on YouTube when we post a video. You can leave a comment there. All comments are welcome. But that's my time for today. As always, dreams are not just for sleeping. Please wake up and live your dreams. My name is Trey Evans. People's Voice. Tell somebody about the dream. Salute.